Excuse me. Excuse me. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 541. No double shot this time, just one book, and the Superman book. Excuse me. And it is Superman Action Comics Volume 4, The New World. Written by Dan Jurgens, artwork by Pat Zurcher and Ian Churchill. Collecting issues 977 to 984. Wow, 8 issues. This is something. It's rare you see this, and you collect like two major, like, think, oh yeah, this is two major storylines. Yeah, simply put, way with this one is that, well, aside from Patrick Church and Ian Churchill, there's also Carla Batter, Luis Lewis, Jack Herbert, Matt Sorelli, Ray McCarthy, Victor Botting, and Jonathan Gatsby. The cover art for this trade is done by Andy Kubert and Brad Anderson. Yeah, okay. Now, the first, few issues in here, The New World, which is basically the title of the trade, it's just, well, Superman looking at the after results, what happened with Superman Reborn. Also, he gets a chance to have a brief encounter with Metallo. Yep, you get a chance to see stuff set up for the arc that comes right after this, Superman Revenge. Yep. So, simply put, yeah, you have Superman pretty much revisiting his whole entire career with very little changes here and there when it comes to, well, his life. And we also have his fight with Doomsday, which apparently, according to this continuity, Superman only been active roughly 2 years by the time he fought Doomsday. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. He only been active roughly 2 years, and the whole side thing which sets up next arc, you have first this mysterious character, first he recruits Metallo, and then recruits the Eradicator. I'll explain him in a minute. He's actually from the first, this version of Eradicator, who is basically the same Eradicator everyone's familiar with, but this one showed up, last appearance was in the first arc for Superman by Pierre de Tomasi. We'll explain that soon. Yep. Also, it has nods to stuff happened before, like what happened in the Superman Lois and Clark series, stuff like that. And the thing ends with, well, you have the guy Henshaw, we'll explain who he is in a minute. He recruits these 4 people, recruits Metallo, the Eradicator, and this, I'm trying to think, what's his name here? It is Bosnick, I think his name is. I'm not all that familiar with this villain when it comes to Superman villains, but yeah, that is him. And you have the Eradicator and Metallo. Metallo's got an interesting look. I like his look. It's different from the classic look people are familiar with, because, excuse me, people who read comics in the 1980s, of course, I was reading the 1980s, I'm familiar with the way he looked in Man of Steel, and of course reading the old Superman issues in the late 80s, he had sort of his look basically was heavily inspired by the Terminator film, which came out just, well, when the issue came out, which was 1987, roughly 3 years after the film came out. Now, the whole entire, well, New World thing was only about 3, I think it was 2 parts, I think it was. Let me check here. Yeah, I think it was just a quick 2-part story, which just sets up, well, you can kind of say that this whole story was basically just set up for the Revenge story, which basically the Revenge Squad, I'll explain who they are in a minute, they decided to recruit also Mongol and General Zod, and this story also has a loose tie-in to what happened in the pages of Suicide Squad. It loosely is a loose crossover with it, but yeah, you have to read Suicide Squad to explain what happened with Superman when he went to the Black Vault. And here's Mongol on this awesome artwork by Patrick Zurcher. Yep. And of course, there's a nod to for the man who has everything, with the whole the black flower, which is what Mongol gave to Superman on his birthday. Yep, on his birthday. Yeah. But let me show you who this Henshaw is. Henshaw, who apparently knows Mongol, Mongol had demanded him to get this. He wanted him to get on his knees and kiss his hand. He says, you don't recognize me. You have no memory of Hank Henshaw, aka the Cyborg Superman. Yeah, the Cyborg Superman. As far as I know, this version of Superman, this version of the Cyborg Superman, this is the first post Flashlight appearance of this guy. Though he did pop up a few times prior to this, well, in the pages of Superman, Lois and Clark, and I think he also popped up in other books. But I do like the fact that Dan Jurgens brought this guy back because he kind of is the one who, I think he's the one who created him. Let me look him up here. But yeah, I believe he's the one who created him. Let me take a look here. Yeah, Dan Jurgens did create this guy. So, yeah. It's completely all true. Hank Henshaw is the one who was created by Dan Jurgens. And it's great, though, Jurgens brought this guy back. Because I think for a lot of people, for the past 6 years, this is probably one Superman villain who did not make an appearance. It was a Cyborg Superman who was Jor-El's brother, but this is technically the other one. Yeah. And of course, Cyborg Superman and Mongo have a brief fight. Of course, they go free Zod just to get his damn army. Yep. Yeah. And of course, you have a guest star appearance by Batman. He pops up for a couple issues of the storyline, but it's not surprising because Batman loves appearing in outside. Like, of all the characters in DC Comics, the one character he loves frequently appearing in his own comic book is he loves to make guest star appearances is the page of Superman. And not the first time Dan Jurgens has written Batman, so it won't be the last time seeing him there. Oh yeah, and the whole thing of Kneel before Zod. Yeah, that's actually also a line from Superman 2. Yep, they have that in there. And of course the Superman Revenge Squad. I'll explain who they are soon. Okay, let me explain who the Revenge Squad is. They technically, well, this is not the first version of them per se. They popped up several times over the years. Simply put, they're a group of Superman villains who come together to kill Superman because, well, they can't do it on their own. They're technically DC's version of the Sinister Six. Yeah, a group of I believe about 6 villains who are all basically enemies of the same person, and they all team up to take on him. The Mongo's also an enemy of Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. Yep. And of course, well, Zod is breaking out of Bell Rev because we had the Reed suicide, so we got to figure out why he was there. Yeah. So, yeah, and they free him from the, and they go to the Phantom Zone, and because, well, Superman's blind, he needs help. So, who comes calling? Supergirl. And there are several others who come calling. Well, Superman's getting the crap beat out of him by at least several different guys. And he gets help from not only Supergirl, but also Lex Luthor, the Chinese Superman, Superwoman, and Steel. Wow, what a great way to bring back the Superman of America. Yeah, though they're not officially called it back, technically it's referred to as the post-Flash version of Superman of America. Yeah, these are a group of or it could be like a Superman family. Yeah, so this turns to all-out brawl between the Superman family and the Superman Revenge Squad, and each one of them get their own. Yeah, each one of the members get their own person to fight against. Well, who gets who? You probably wondered this yourself. Well, Superman gets General Zod, obviously. That's an obvious one. Blahnik gets... I'm not sure he gets it. Let's see. Cyborg Superman gets Supergirl, and she does make a reference to her father, though when this issue came out, there was a little like editor's note here on the bottom of him talking what happened in the first arc of Supergirl. The Eradicator gets Superwoman, which is interesting though. The Telepath gets the Chinese Superman. Steel gets Metallo, which is interesting, and Lex gets Mongol. Yeah. It's so amazing, and they all go sent to the Phantom Zone, and And he's not actually there to free his army. Nope. He's actually there to free two people. One is Ursa. Yep. General Zod's wife and the mother of his son, Lord Zod. Which, that's him standing right next to him. Though in pre-Flashpoint, Lao Zod, aka he was briefly adopted by Superman and Lois to be their adopted son named Chris Kent. As far as I know, he doesn't remember it at all. No, he doesn't. So yeah, and Lois has a great line. He says she says to Zod, he says, "Zod, you picked the wrong house. Sick 'em, Crypto." And of course, General Zod gets attacked by Crypto. It's one of the most hilarious scenes in the whole entire storyline. Even though they get away, but yeah, they're on a different planet, which leads into sort of a setup. Basically, this is actually followed up in the pages of Hal Jordan Green Lantern Corps, where the Green Lantern Corps fights Zod and his family, and of course the Eradicator. Now, this Eradicator previously appeared in the pages of Superman and Son of Superman. I'm glad Dan Jurgens brought him back because I think he's the one who also created him as well. Mongo, as far as I know, was not created by Dan Jurgens. I'm not sure who created him, but let me look him up here. Who created the Eradicator? Let's see. Let's see if I can find him here. Let's see. Mongol was created by... I know Zod was not created by Dan Jurgens. Mongol was created by Lean Ween and Jim Starlin. Yep, they're the ones who created him. Though his son was created by Pierre De Tomasi and Scott Eden. Let's see if I can find him here. The Eradicator. Let's see. Where are you? There you are. There's the Eradicator. The Eradicator first popped up in Action Comics number 2. He is a creation of Roger Stern. Yep, Roger Stern. Though I think turning him into the Cyborg Superman, I think that was Dan Jurgens' idea to turn him to the last Son of Krypton, aka Eradicator. He has different slight appearance than he did in Pre-Flashpoint. Pre-Flashpoint, he basically looked almost exactly like Clark Kent, with the exception of wearing goggles. Yeah. And of course, was a slightly different costume as well. But with new continuity, they decided to make him black for some reason, and also his skin is cracking. Well, he's basically a robot. That's basically what the Eradicator is. He's basically kind of like a robot, also an object that was kept in the Fortress of Solitude that gained sentience. He also had a brief miniseries in the 90s. But despite all that, this by far is an awesome storyline, and I think Dan Jurgens was doing a love letter to a lot of the really awesome storylines from the 90s, a lot of whom he himself wrote and drew. Yeah, because people who know Dan Jurgens, people know him for being a guy associated with Superman, doing writing and artwork for the main Superman title while doing other Superman titles. I mean, after all, Dan Jurgens was one of the ones who created Doomsday, and he created the Cyborg Superman, which is awesome. They even gave a reference to Cyborg Superman, well, when he first showed up in the comics, where he was on the ship Excalibur, the Space Shuttle Excalibur, and basically, his origin story is kind of similar to what happened with the Fantastic Four. The only difference is, almost everybody except for him died. Yeah, that's simply what happened with Excalibur. They actually throw reference to that, which is nice. They actually kept that. Dan Jurgens wrote that into the canon. This is amazing, and I give this a 9.75 out of 10. I know my friend Tivy, I know he loves this. I don't know if he's ever reviewed this one or not. Tivy, if you haven't reviewed this yet, review, because I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because this is awesome. Though I'm not a big Superman fan, but that was amazing. That was an amazing read. And I was excited the whole time I was reading. I had a blast reading that thing. And I'm sure Dan Jurgens himself had a blast writing that story, along with Patrick Zirch and Ian Churchill. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for episode number 442. And it'll probably be the 448th double shot. As for when I'm going... Excuse me. As I'm going to put up another video for this series, probably won't be until later on this week because I'm pretty much out of the trades to review right now. So, and as for videos I'm going to do, this is my last one for today. I'm planning on doing at least one tomorrow. I'm going to review the newest chapter for Hunter x Hunter, but aside from that, that's all I got planned tomorrow for videos. But that was actually one of the videos I planned to do today. Alright, so enjoy, see you in my next video. Bye.